I hope this gives you lots of motivation for whatever's on your to-do list, and I also hope it kind of gives you permission that if you don't get everything done on your list, just put it on tomorrow's list. No big deal. Another day, another to-do list. It's like 90 degrees outside, hot and humid, so the hair is definitely up. Here is what I have for my to-do list, and then let's just see how we do. So what I'm doing is each day I am focusing on my basics, which is, if and no one else has done it, empty, fill the dishwasher, which you are not going to see me do today. Laundry, tidying up little things. And then I'm picking a room every day to focus on. If I need more than one day in that room, that's fine. But if I don't, I will just move on. So yesterday I focused on the dining room and I just cleaned a window. Today I am focused on the kitchen because I know there's some items in my spice cabinet, in my baking cabinet, where I keep like pans and stuff that I could pack up that we're not going to need. Then I also noticed that underneath my spices, the little crumbs, I don't know how they get there. I'm assuming that there's like spice in the lid that drops down because it's not like we're shaking spices in the cabinet. I don't get it, but it needs to be cleaned anyway. Then I wanted to pack away spare lids to my pots and pans. I'm going to take them out, see what I got, and do that. My husband needs to buy deck screws. There's a place that just kind of bent out that got caught in a building inspection where they thought it meant that my whole house was falling down. And if he can't go buy the deck screws, I will. We're going to get the big honkin' long ones so that he can screw that so that it doesn't look like it's winged out, even though, I don't know, it is. I want to clean my kitchen lights, and I need to do like a fridge clean out. And I need to keep laundry folded. We'll see how much of that I get done. Whatever doesn't get done today, which is just going to go on the list tomorrow, no big deal. But I am babysitting my grandson Jabari tonight, so I definitely want to not overwork myself, and I want to spend a couple hours in the afternoon just resting and doing something that's a little bit more enjoyable than cleaning so that I have lots of positive, calm energy for Jabari tonight. So let's get working together. I find it very satisfying to start with things like laundry because I like to focus on the fact that there was a day, ladies, gentlemen, when we were hand washing our laundry, but now we have a washing machine as kind of a mechanical servant to go ahead and do our laundry for us. I feel the same way about the dishwasher. It is absolutely magical. So I love to get my quote servants going. Also, I thought I should get supper going and get it, to a point where all I have to do is cook it because I tend to burn out at about 4 o'clock. And we're going to have an early supper today of citrus, soy, chicken thighs, corn on the cob, and then I'll put rice on for the carby lovers in our family. So I'm going to get the corn husked and get it put in freezer bags. And I'm going to get the chicken marinating real quick here. So I have so many fun things for us to talk about today. First of all, there's so many of you who are new, and I do not review my life and what's going on in my life enough. And then I get questions in the comments, and I realize, oh, okay, I'm not communicating clearly. So I apologize for that. So my name is Karen. I have lived in Maine for 60 years. I cannot believe it. And I have 7 children. So my 7 children are Tyler, who's 32 years old. Christian is 28 years old. Rachel is 27 years old. Francois is 21 years old. Crecia is 20 years old. Yvonne is 19 years old. And Ava is 18 years old. All of my boys are married. My son Tyler is married to Brittany, and they together have 3 children. Nolan is 7 years old, Eloa is 4 years old, and Joanna is a year and a half. Then Christian is married to Beth, and they live in Massachusetts. Francois is married to Emma Kate, and they live in North Carolina. So, living with me is Rachel, Crecia, Yvonne, and Yvonne has a son, Jabari, who is 2 months old, and he also, of course, lives with us. And then Ava does not live with us. She has moved out, And so it is my husband Robin and I, and we have been married. It'll be 35 years at the end of August. I can't believe it. Dude, what are you doing? You never come up here. If I take my camera out, he is all about it.
Look at that.
Like literally. I'm really not putting him down because I want to see what he does.
Well, yeah.
Oh, he wants the bag. Yeah, his bag's on the floor, dude.
Yeah, you need to get off because you're going to get burnt on the... Oh. Sorry, find you some coffee. We'll watch out. There's I have anything left in there.
Okay, don't panic. I promise. We boil the corn in order to cook it. And I do clean my counters. I know. It's alarming to have a cat up there. But I just kind of wanted to see what he was doing because it is ridiculous that he won't be anywhere near me. But if I take out my camera, he is all up in it. He is very vain, and he wants to be on camera, and he wants to be the star. And unfortunately for me, he kind of is the star. So corn was 3 for $1, which really surprised me because it's not the 4th of July. I think it was 4 for $1 on the 4th of July, actually. But anywho, as you might know, we are trying to sell our home and move to Vermont. This is not the first time that we have tried to sell this house. We tried to sell it in 2018. At that time, we didn't really have a clear idea of where we wanted to be. We just knew we wanted to be near stores. And so that was a tough sell. I actually put it on the market because it was it 20? Well, I just said it was 2018, didn't I? It just, we had heard the market was moving quickly, but there was so much we needed to get done on the house, and we really should have been taking care of more things before we tried to put it on the market, and we were a little bit blind to our own home. That was back when I had brown cabinets, actually, and since then we have done tons to our house, including a new roof and new septic, a new furnace, a new kitchen, and 2 new bathrooms. Also, we redid the deck, which I always forget to mention. So we took care of all of the big things. But you know what I've learned since we put the house back on the market? And it's really only been 2 weeks. And 1 week was wasted with someone who went under contract and then ended up backing out. What we learned, or what we are learning, is that when you are selling a home, what you see is what you've done. And when someone is buying a home, what they see is what you haven't done. You know, can you relate? But, so we had one buyer back out, and there's been some other snafus with my husband's work, but we're not giving up. Another question I get is, why are we moving to Vermont? We're moving to Vermont because my 3 grandchildren live there, and my oldest son is also there, but you know, I have 7 kids. I would love to live near all of them, but since they're spread, my sons are all spread out, it's not possible. So we would like to be more involved with our grandchildren's lives. I cannot believe our oldest grandchild is 7 years old. Time is just flying by. So I have gotten the advice to wait from some of you, but we are not willing to give up yet. You know, it's been one buyer. It was the first person to look at the house. Yes, my husband has some tensions with his work and how that is all going to play out, but we're going to wait until the answer is no with an exclamation point, and that's kind of how I live my life. And plus, I just feel like I would really like to get out from under this house, and I would really like to change the area where we're living for various reasons. All of us who are living here feel the need for a fresh start. Okay. So let's get some chicken soy. Let's get some citrus soy chicken marinating, and then I'm going to broil it. Look, okay, so I took out a 2/3 cup, and it had like sugar and cinnamon in it. I know it was from when one of the members of my house made apple crisp recently, so I had to get that washed out. Not to mention if there was any flour in there. I do have one person in the family who is gluten-free, and I'd rather not poison her. So I did 2/3 of a cup of orange juice, and then it calls for fresh ginger, and I think it was 2 teaspoons of fresh ginger, so I did a 1/2 teaspoon of ground ginger since it's so much stronger. And so then this is soy sauce, 2 tablespoons. I used tamari, and then it called for a couple teaspoons of honey, so I'm just kind of giving it a squirt. And then I always measure minced garlic with my heart. It said 2 cloves of minced garlic, so to me that meant 2 honkin' tablespoons. You can't have too much garlic. So we're just going to whisk that together. I do have it in a disposable pan. I had gotten a bunch of those at Costco. So I'm going to put my chicken thighs in there. I'm doing 2 chicken thighs for each person. Every time I do chicken thighs, I'm always shocked at how much they shrink when you broil them because, you know, they're a bit fattier and it's a high temperature. And so those things shrink right up. So I'm doing 2 pieces per person, which is going to end up looking like 1 piece per person. Also, my toxic YouTube trait, because I fizzle out at 4 o'clock, I always forget to show the after of what I'm making for supper. But I thought you might need some meal prep motivation and maybe an idea. This is a family favorite of ours. So I thought I will show it to you anyway, even though I'm so sorry you're not going to see a plate at the end of this. So it's morning, and I feel so good that I'm getting this ready in the morning. It's great to have a plan. Make sure that your meat is thawed out. Do any prep that you can, because you're not going to have, I don't care if you're 18 or 81, you're not going to have more energy at the end of your busy day than you have now. So in the morning is always a great time to get that ready, and then not only do you have supper all figured out, you're not tempted to get takeout food because it is figured out, because it is half prepped, and all you have to do is the heating part. And then we use a rice cooker for our rice, and so that was easy peasy as well. As I put it in my full refrigerator, I just need to move some things around. I really need to get any meats out, and I like to individually wrap each piece of meat and put it in a freezer bag and put it in the freezer. But that's going to be at the end of my day, if it happens at all. And so that took me long enough that now it is time to switch over the laundry. So I'm going to get a load out of the dryer and then switch over, of course, from the washer to the dryer. Okay. I don't need to explain that. You know how laundry is done. I have been looking at ChatGPT. I have some fun with ChatGPT. And by the way, after I get the dryer and the washer situated, I'm going to go and clean the lights up over my kitchen island. And let me just tell you, when I get there, because I don't want to be talking about it when I get there, they are very greasy because we use a lot of oil when we cook, and it floats up into the air. We lived in Nicaragua for 5 to 6 months, depending on which family member you're talking about, and my younger 4 children lived there, a combination of 5 to 8 years before we adopted them. And I kind of got in the habit of cooking with oil there because that is how they do things there. So avocado oil is my best friend, but it does leave a residue on things. Okay, so me and ChatGPT had some fun together today. I asked GPT, what is the popular decluttering methods? And I asked GPT to give me a brief description. Do you know KonMari is still the #1 trending way to declutter? And I don't even think Marie Kondo, declutters that way anymore once she started having children. But that is decluttering by category. Well, she was saying keep anything that sparks joy. But going by category is one method, and it's the Marie Kondo method. We know her because of the whole spark joy, but I think decluttering by category, like clothes and books, rather than by location, makes her unique. So she's not going to, let's say, do the living room and then the kitchen, she'll go around the house, gather all the clothes, or go around the house, gather all the books, and do it that way. And by the way, I'm doing this to give you ideas where you might attach to one of these methods that you might not have heard of. The next is the minimalist game. Get rid of one item on day 1, 2 on day 2, and so on for 30 days. This is actually, so you would get rid of 400 items in a 30-day month. And this was what actually got me decluttering. Was Michelle from My Everyday Wife Life had a challenge like this in February. I think it was either 2021 or 2023, but I kind of feel like it was 2021. Anyway, that is what got me going in my basement. And oh my goodness, years later, I have all these videos. I have 800 total videos on my channel, over 800. And most of those are decluttering videos. And that is actually how I got started. So the next one is the 4-box method, where you have 1 box for keep, 1 for donate, 1 for trash, and 1 for relocate. I'm old enough that I remember when it was a 3-box method and it was keep, donate, trash. Now your donate could be sell, or you could do a 5-box method of keep, sell, donate, trash, relocate. Of course, relocate is putting things back where they belong rather than running back and forth to each room. What you would do is put everything that needs to go in another room in a box. I think one of the great things about that method was you could put it on your calendar to put the things away the next day if you burn out the first day. The one thing I'll say, I agree with Dana K. White about selling. Selling is great if you actually sell the stuff. Selling is great if you're not tempted to get so excited that you sold stuff that now you are going out and trying to buy secondhand things to sell. It's one thing if it becomes a business for you. Oh, I'm trying to think of the YouTuber right now. I can picture her in my mind, and I know a lot of you watch her. She resells. She is from France. Now, when I tell you that, you're going to know. I think she lives in New Jersey. Her name is escaping me. But she has a place, I think it's like a barn or a shed. I think it's a shed or garage, actually, where she keeps that stuff. So if you're going to do that, have a dedicated space so it doesn't end up all over the house, of course. Okay, 1 in, 1 out rule. I think a lot of you have heard of that. Like anytime something new is brought into the home, something else leaves. I think that's a great way to maintain balance and to keep up with your home once it has been decluttered. Then there's the 12-12-12 challenge. Find 12 items to throw away, 12 to donate, and 12 to return in their proper place. I think that's a great method because over time, you can imagine how much better your house would be at the end of that. You could have a packing party. Pack all your belongings just like you're moving and only unpack items as you need them. Donate the rest after a couple of weeks. I think that is an interesting method because it kind of does what Peter Walsh did, but it does it in a slower, more manageable way. Because do you remember in Clean Sweep how he would take everything from somebody's house and put it out on the lawn, and then you only brought back into the house the things you absolutely want to keep? Then they would have a huge yard sale and they would haul off every other thing. Okay, what am I doing now? This is a fake declutter. So I'm looking at what things need to go into my storage unit. I'm loosening up the house. There was a sale, a half-price sale at a storage facility that is 5 minutes from my house. We wanted to get some of the furniture out just so the house looked crisp, clean, neat, without too much furniture. And since we had that space, we thought, okay, let's also make any cabinets and closets look loose too, so that when somebody opens the closet door, they can actually see what is in it. And even though I had a rough time with the inspector/contractor that came, and honestly, somebody said I shouldn't have let him come, I'm not sure I had a choice. But anyway, no, there was no mention of anything inside the house, and I do feel very grateful for that. But anyway, so I'm kind of continuing the whatever we don't absolutely need can go in a box, and I'll bring it to the storage unit as long as I can fit it in the storage unit. I also misspoke when I said when I get to the other, let's say wherever we're living in Vermont, then I know I am going to declutter more things. And I've gotten the advice, declutter it now. What I meant to say, and I apologize for not communicating well, is that I don't know where I'm going to live. I don't know how much container space, cabinet space I'm going to have. But realistically, even though I think I need these things and don't want to get rid of them now, I know when I get to the other end, I am probably going to get rid of some things, and I'm already anticipating it. But if there's something I know we are going to get rid of, I definitely am getting rid of it now, just so you know. So what I am doing is I want these to fit nicely. I actually kind of am in between. I don't need another full lid of one of these lid container things, but one is a little not enough and two is too much. So I'm taking the lids that are the same size and packing those away if I have two of the same size. Why do I have two of the same size? Well, because I have more than one pan of the same size. I might have a frying pan and a deep pan, and they both take the same size lid. Let me just tell you, immediately that night, I was cooking our corn. There was something else on the stove that I can't remember now. And I had to, they were the same size. And so I had to use one lid that was too big on one of the pans because I had already packed away the lid that was the same size. But no regrets. It's short term. I can do it. These white little things, what are they called? I got those at Goodwill. And they're great for if you're making like a mug cake or an individual apple crisp. I did keep them because I was going to pack two of them away, but actually my family uses them. So I decided at the end of the day, it's better to keep them. And then there was a couple of bowls that are used for stir fry up there. Those I'm definitely packing away. Then I'm going to show you here in a minute. There was something, it was a sauce. Yeah, that sauce right there. I don't know what it is, salad dressing or what, but had fallen over and it had leaked. So that is going straight way into the trash. And I was really glad I did that. Shocked it did not draw any bugs or ants or anything like that. So I'm just going to get that wiped down. It is the reason I use liners. And you know what? Nothing got on the actual cabinet from that sauce. It was only on the liner. So I feel super duper blessed. Okay, now let's go back to methods of, so we had the packing party method. Then, of course, everyone's heard of Swedish death cleaning. I have done some Swedish death cleaning videos on my channel. And I have to say, this was a big, once I started decluttering, after that February challenge, I heard about Swedish death cleaning and I thought, okay, I actually don't want my kids to have to go through all of my stuff and go through all of that. So I really do want to take care of everything. And also anything I can hand down now that I'm going to hand to my children, I want to do now. One of the reasons I'm really glad that I made that choice is when it came to the family china, I bought on Amazon a lead kit and I tested the china, and sure enough, it tested positive for lead and I had to get rid of it. And I was really sad. And one particular member of my family was also really sad because she was really looking forward. I was going to divide it up amongst the kids. So let's say that husband and wife are having romantic dinner. Everybody would have at least 2 place settings. But I had to get rid of it. But what if I had passed? No one thought to do the lead kit test. So I'm really glad I did that. But I am trying to just deal with things now so that there's very little, if anything, for them to do. And everything to get everything boxed and categorized. Okay, so there's the Swedish death cleaning. Reverse hanger trick. I'm sure you've heard of that. Hang all your clothes with hangers facing backward. You turn it the right way when you wear an item. After 6 months to a year, you donate what hasn't been worn. Okay, so if you live in a climate like mine, you would want to wait for that 1 year because you're not going to wear, your deep winter clothes every 6 months because 6 months from December or January is June and July. So you're just not going, or May and June. So, from May to August, you're not going to be wearing that stuff. So you would do it if you have 4 seasons, you know, you need to say, okay, if I haven't worn it in a year, then let's consider getting rid of it. And I'm actually ready to do that now. I'm always decluttering my clothes closets. I have so many clothes closets videos on my channel. And I just was thinking of a pair of pants and a specific sundress that I have not worn. The pants for quite a while, and the sundress I kept for summer, and I haven't worn it once. And when I think about wearing it, I'm suddenly thinking, before I was just thinking, does it fit? Now I'm thinking, actually, it's not really that comfortable. And so I don't choose it. And so therefore, I need to get rid of it. The next method is 30-day minimalism challenge, which is a structured list of daily tasks like decluttering your junk drawer, donate unused kitchen tools, and do that for 30 days. Now, right up with that, Michelle from My Everyday Wife Life did that and did this. And Dee from D Lovely Life, she just finished hers up. So if you went to D Lovely Life, DEE, you could look up her most recent 30 drawers in 30 days challenge. That's, I think, a much more, a better way to do that. That's not quite so overwhelming. Then there's a clutter-free countdown. Start by removing 10 items on day 1, 9 on day 2, and so on, down to 1 item on day 10. That's kind of cool because as you get tired and maybe burn out, then you're just making it less and less that you have to clean out. That is kind of a good idea. Like, you could even do a reverse, you know, you could start with however many items you want. You could do it for 2 weeks and start with 14 items. That might be kind of cool. You know, I'm kind of keeping these in the back of my mind because I do want to start doing some decluttering challenges with you guys. And so that would be cool. Okay, what am I doing right now? I had 2 containers of cornstarch. I'm combining both of them in the better container. The newer one is actually the boxed one, so I don't have to worry about expiration dates. But we use cornstarch pretty frequently because I use it as a thickener in place of flour whenever I'm making a gravy. So not too worried about that. Okay, where was I? The room by room method is focusing on 1 room at a time. This would be Danny K. White's way, what she talks about in Decluttering at the Speed of Life, systematically decluttering and organizing before moving on to the next. And she said, open your front door, walk into your house. What do you see first? And this way, you're decluttering in such a way that makes it easier to have guests over if that's something that's important to you. Then there's the time-based decluttering. Woohoo! I feel like I should get credit for this one, even though I know people thought of it before me. Set a timer for 10 to 15 minutes a day and declutter as much as you can in that window. We do 20 minutes. You know, I think you should choose whatever time works for you. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Half an hour, whatever you have time for. Then there's the 20-20 rule. If you can replace an item for under $20 in less than 20 minutes, consider letting it go. Oh my goodness, I have been doing the $20 one. Okay, just one method, declutter 1 item a day. Slow but sustainable, especially for beginners. And you could keep a clutter box in your house, you know, in a room so that you can just be tossing it in that box. When the box is full, it's time to go and donate. Then the Oprah closet hanger experiment. I've never heard of this. Similar to the reverse hanger trick, but specifically for helping assess which clothing you actually wear. I got to admit, that one's a bit of a mystery to me. Okay, on the stove, my husband is actually making himself some sweet tea. I'm not sure if he actually sweetened it though, because he usually drinks unsweetened tea. I also got rid of a couple of these casserole dishes. I didn't get rid of them. I'm packing them away because we have the ones I got at Costco. I don't use them a lot. In fact, the ones that you saw, did you see them in the cabinet already? No, you're going to see it in the cabinet here in a minute. I've had those for months. I just don't use casserole dishes very often. So I thought I'll get the couple of casserole dishes that are the same basic size out of the house. And so that's what I decided to do. And, you know, I filled 2 boxes. I filled 2 boxes today. And so if I chose to do more boxes, I could put the other ones there too. So you're just about to see them right now. See, there they are. Oh, yes, yes, you did. I thought I had done that. Okay, there's the two cabinets. I'm so busy talking about decluttering, I cannot keep track of myself. There's little Yvonne and Jabari over there. And one thing that I will do sometimes if watch face plant right there. Trying to get what's under the pillow. Anyways, if I'm feeling really tired, but I really have this strong list I want to get done, I will try to go between sit down tasks and stand up tasks. And that's one way that editing YouTube videos really does help me. Is I'm still being productive, but I'm sitting down. And so sitting down to do laundry, I can sit and I can chat with my family. Because this video got so long, I have been doing things in real time because overwhelmingly that is what you guys requested. But because this video is quite long, I did decide to speed up my laundry folding, but I definitely want to make sure you know that this is sped up so that you don't think you should be able to fold laundry this quickly. Whenever I fold laundry, I always think of our friend Monique because she used to always fold her laundry while she watched my videos. And now she's one of my channel members. It's been really cool to get to know her better. I actually post, I go live with my channel members 4 days a week. Well, actually 5. 4 days a week in the morning, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, unless I'm traveling, because last week I had to miss Thursday, Friday because I was traveling. But, and then on Wednesdays, we do a book study at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Right now we're doing Dana K. White's Decluttering at the Speed of Life. Before that, we were doing a book on anxiety, and I have that as a playlist on my channel. If you go through my playlist, you will see it, where once we're done, I do put those live sessions where we're going through what stands out to us, what we think are the main points of each chapter, and just chatting about it for 20 to 30 minutes. And so all of the ones on anxiety are currently on my channel for you to see as well. And then when we're done with Decluttering at the Speed of Life, I will do the same thing again. That is actually a really, really good book. So that leads me to what else I asked ChatGPT. I wanted to know who are the top decluttering gurus of 2025. Now, of course, ChatGPT could be right or could be wrong, but what amazed me, the point that I saw here, and by the way, Jabari, of course, I have double timed this, but those arms and legs are always going. When that kid gets able to walk and run, oh my goodness. But anyway, what I really noticed, it's really not about, where am I? It's not necessarily about like HGTV anymore. It's more about YouTube. Okay, so you have Marie Kondo. Of course, she did have a book. That's how she kind of, it wasn't YouTube, it was her book and then a show. The home edit, now is it Clea? Joanna? Didn't that start on YouTube? I really think they got their start on YouTube. Dana K. White was number 3. So Marie Kondo, number 1. Home edit, number 2. Dana K. White, number 3. It says known for her practical guilt-free container concept. Cassandra from Clutterbug, number 4. It says rising stars and digital influencers. Kayleen Kelly, which she's on TikTok and Instagram. I had never heard of her because I'm not so much into TikTok and Instagram. Shira Gill, I might be saying her name wrong. She's the author of Minimalista, blending minimalism, home styling, and personal development. Then there is The Minimalists, which is Joshua Fields Milburn and Ryan Nicodemus. They're still popular via their podcasts and books. Dana Wolf, The Minimal Mom. Of course, we've heard of her. So those are the top 8. So what is amazing to me is YouTube. I mean, if you want to be a decluttering influencer / guru, it is wide open for you. Start a YouTube channel. People want to hear what you have to say. Everybody is looking for help. And I feel like, it's definitely a wide open area. If you feel like you have something to add to the world, the world needs your voice. Okay, if you can believe it, there are other ways to declutter than what I have already mentioned. One is the 90-90 rule, which is a minimalism game. If you haven't used an item in 90 days and don't plan to use it in the next 90, it's time to let it go. There's one. Of course, we've heard of Swedish death cleaning. And let's see if digital decluttering challenges. Clutter minus free tech equals clarity. Unsubscribe from emails, delete apps, clear your desktop. It's often done alongside of physical decluttering. That's a great one to do. I sometimes will clean out my email while I'm watching TV or something because I can it's not really something I need my full attention on because I end up with full inbox. I don't know about you guys. I'll end up like Google's giving me warnings that I'm using up all of my space. Of course, you've heard of the 1 a day declutter. 5-minute fill a bag. Yep, we talked about that. Eco-conscious decluttering, which is you're looking at sustainability first. Declutter with the intention to recycle, upcycle, or donate, reducing landfill waste. There's the room reset approach. Empty one room completely. That's kind of so you could either do the box method we talked about, boxing everything up like you're moving, or empty one room completely. Of course, I guess you would put it in a box. You don't have to. You could put it in another room, only bringing back essentials you truly love. What I love about this one is I have often thought that it would be really cool what was I thinking? I just lost my train of thought. Sorry, guys, this girl's 60 years old. Okay, it's time to pack this stuff up in a box now. So I want to be careful to make it pack ready. I don't know who's moving us or someone else. So that's why I'm kind of wrapping these nicely. Anyways, I've always thought it would be cool to see my house with fresh eyes. Like if I could take stuff out of it and be like, okay, is this really where I want my living room? Not that I have a ton of choices, but it would be kind of neat. It feels like it would be unique to kind of move out and move back into my house and look at my house through completely fresh eyes. And I think when you show your house, in some ways you're doing that because you do get feedback and they tell you, what they liked or what they didn't like about the house, where are the problem areas. And it does give you information that you can use to make improvements on your home. It's one of the things, I was thinking about, and I think I mentioned it in my last video. You get a home inspector come, and whether you agree with him or not, you can be bitter or better. So I'm trying to look at it as I want to be better, and more eyes on my house help me to be better. Even if this whole thing falls apart and we can't move, which could happen because policies are changing daily within the last 8 days, even in my husband's company, that make it harder to move, not easier. So we have some tough decisions to make. Anyways, I don't even want to go down that path, but the better not, I feel like that should be its own method, better not bitter, of letting eyes sit on your house, on your life. And honestly, this is what happens in YouTube. People will say things in the comment section. Sometimes it's because of my lack of communication. They'll say something and initially I'll be like, well, why would someone say that? And I'm kind of hurt by it. And then I have to remember, oh, it's because I didn't communicate well, because we've really... I am in the comments section and I bless and block anyone who's not appropriate, anyone who's not nice, if it truly is from a heart of meanness. And so I don't know if that's why, or if it is a blessing of the Lord, but I don't really get people who are just trolls out to be mean anymore. So I always have to look from a perspective of better, not bitter, and say, okay, what is the person seeing that I'm not seeing? Is it possible that I need to see it in a different way? Or is it possible that we just disagree and that's fine? They were well-intentioned when they said it. I'm well-intentioned when I disagree with it. We both kind of go about our merry ways. We would all do things differently. Nobody does the same thing twice, or the same thing the same way. That's what I want to say. Like if you get a bunch of 12-year-olds in your kitchen to cook, each one is going to tell you what their mom does, and they feel like that's the absolute right thing to do, and they don't want you doing it differently. My mom always uses a wooden spoon. My mom always measures this way. My mom doesn't measure. She just measures with her heart. Whenever you get that age category in a kitchen together, I've done it through like church ministries. It is a hoot because they all have a different way, but that's how we all are. We're just a little bit quieter about it. So these foam pieces, I got the foam roll probably at like Lowe's. They are perforated. So I think it's actually for plates because they would all be the same general size. I should see, I'm gonna tear it and show you, but yeah, okay, you gotta be careful or it doesn't tear well at the bottom, just so you know. Another method for decluttering is, of course, to have an accountability partner. And that is something, okay, now I'm showing you the boxes. This is how full they are. I'm going to label them and put the lids on it, and then they're going to be ready to go to our storage unit. I think having an accountability partner, whether it is someone who comes into your home and does it with you, and then maybe you go to their home, or it's a challenge you're doing online and you're accountable to other people. I think this is so amazing. And this is what I hope to provide on my channel. There's little Woozy there. Not Leo this time. I really want on my channel to give you an accountability partner. I'm hoping it's me, somebody that you can report to or share with. And so what are you decluttering in your home now? What method is your method of choice? If you have decluttered completely, then how are you maintaining and not getting to a place where it needs a heavy declutter again? Because our needs are always changing as people. You're always going to be decluttering. And there was a method I just heard of for the first time today. It was called the cocoon method. It's so cute how people are creative and think of all these things. And so obviously I'm cleaning up my spice cabinet now. I do check for things that are expired, but I do it so often that I didn't find anything that was expired this time. Anyway, what the cocoon method means is just that when you are decluttering, this is what you can have as a mindset. I am making space for the new me. I'm reinventing myself. My needs are changing. Like I'm 60 now. What I love to do now, what I loved to do when I was 25 are definitely not the same. Okay, there's this shot. It doesn't even show all the spices. It's much messier than it actually looks. Like I said, not quite sure how all that spice falls, but it does. So you got to clean it once in a while. Empty ways. So you're looking at what serves the person I want to be today, my interests, my values, how often I want to clean, how much I want to have to take care of, how much I want to store. What do I have for space today, which might be different than what I had yesterday? How much do I really want to clean and maintain these areas? For example, I have a spice cabinet. My spices fit in my spice cabinet. What if I didn't want to be cleaning this out all the time? Maybe I would choose to have less spices in the house so that I wouldn't have to be cleaning it all the time. You know, no matter what you have for spaces, dust and dirt flies through the air and settles. And to a certain extent, you're always going to be maintaining those spaces. And how much do you want your family to have to maintain those spaces in your absence? So that's the cocoon method, and I like that mindset. So Rachel, yeah, I'm going to be making dinner early because the girls are going to somebody's house. So I'll make it for 5. Okay. And I have citrus soy chicken marinating in the fridge. Okay, and finally, what do you think is the best method for decluttering a home? I know that it's a lot based on personality, a lot based on situation and home. What is the best method? Let me know in the comment section below, or maybe it's a hybrid of many. I feel like in the next video I do, we will talk about a combination of methods and how you can combine different methods to find what works best for you in your home, because that is what is important. We're all different. We all have different personalities, just like we have different storage personalities. Some of us, like me, you don't want to see anything. Other people, if they can't see it, it doesn't exist. I have a son like this, and let me tell you what, it was very hard for him to live with me because I wanted everything hidden, and if it was hidden, he couldn't see it and he didn't think it was there. You know what I mean? So that was always something that he and I had to work on relationally, is what looked like a mess to me looked like his ability to find things quickly. And so in that same vein, it's going to be different. What you think is the best method for decluttering is going to be different than someone else. And so read through the comments section and see what everyone is saying. And someone might be there just like you. In fact, wouldn't it be great if Clutterbug did that for us? Is this she had a test? Oh, I should write to her and say, because I don't know that I'm smart enough to come up with this. A test that shows what kind of declutterer you are. Ooh, oh my goodness, I have stumbled onto genius. I feel like if you could come up with that test, go on YouTube, you could be like Clutterbug, but it would be for decluttering instead of for organizing your home. How cool is that? Because you know, organizing and decluttering are not the same thing. And how many times have we all made the mistake in our younger years, or maybe even now, where we're organizing things before we declutter them? Dun, dun, dun. We go out, we spend money on all those great organizers, which, by the way, will be less expensive right now for small spaces because dorm rooms, people, as they go back to school shopping, in fact, that would be fun if we went out shopping and looked at the different containers that are out there. I think the best time to look for organizational containers is definitely back to school time, because everyone is trying to figure out how to organize their dorm room, which means things are going to go on sale. So let me know if you liked this decluttering chat. And there's my spices.
Here is what we got done. So I did get the kitchen items packed up. That box is ready to go to storage, and we cleaned the spice shelf, packed away the spare lids. I cannot do the little, oh, did I even mention at the beginning to put some stain over those nails? It's too hot out. I can't. It's just the stain. It's like you have to be between certain temperatures, and we are not. My husband went and bought the deck screws. That worked out great. I did clean those kitchen lights. Boy, were they greasy from all the oil that we use in the kitchen. I did not clean out the fridge. It is neat, but definitely I want to package up meat, and I haven't done that yet. I'll do that tomorrow. And the laundry is folded. So, not bad. I hope this gave you lots of motivation.
I would love to know, was this a break for you to just kind of sit and relax while I work? Because I love to do that. I love to watch videos just for that reason. Or did you work alongside me? Let me know in the comments section. Remember, as always, God loves you. I love you too. Can't wait to see you next time. There's plenty more videos for you to watch. Click on one and I will meet you over there if you have more work to do. Love you so, so much.